built a monument in North Georgia called the Georgia Guidestones. I suggest your people look it up on the internet and read it. It'll tell you exactly what they have, their plans. They've done it. They have created this monument. It's in 8 languages, and it tells you their goal.
Wow. So, is that why, we can't seem to ever get ahead?
Well, what's your definitions of getting ahead? To me, getting ahead right now is getting the most knowledge so you can take care of you, your family, and your friends, so you'll be able to survive the days ahead, because this is an acceleration program that they're way behind schedule right now. I'm waiting, as you and I are talking, any second for the war to get started in the Middle East. What do you think the Iran-Israel malarkey's about, or Syria, the whole thing? They're all set for, if you want to look at it, to get the thing running, because then it becomes over there, as they say, a holy jihad. In other words, it's a regime-changing thing for the entire planet. And China's sitting back, by the way, just letting the West go ahead and do its thing. In other words, get the war started. And as their military people, which I talk to, say that it's 5,000 years, it's our turn to run the world.
Right.
Well, they got 1,300,000,000 people, and I spent time over in China. You have no idea what 1,300,000,000 people are until you walk over there yourself.
Right.
It's just an amazing thing. I mean, your little whatever town that you're in right now is just minuscule.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, and the other problem that we have to look in and we address, and if you go to my website, which is nohoax.com, I have a population clock. And on the population clock, we have 300,000 babies added to the planet every day, or 3 million every 10 days. Think about that. How many people in the city that you're living in right now? Look how long it's taken to get the infrastructure, in other words, the water, the sewer, and the electricity, and all the stuff for your town. It's been many years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now we have to look at, on an entire planet, it's easy to say, well, 300,000 because it's outside of your zone. Most people don't, believe it or not, don't live within, or they don't go outside of 50 miles of where they're born.
Right.
I don't know if you're aware of that.
You're right. Mm-hmm. So is there anything that anybody out there can do to prevent or change this outlook?
No, the only thing, no, you're not going to change anything. Everybody's looking for somebody to come save them. The system is set into a position, so the free fall is already started. You probably are aware that 1 out of 5 houses in the United States is upside down financially, right?
Right.
The people within it owe more money than what the asset value is, according to what they look at. I think it's even worse than that, but that's only because I was a real estate developer. I built in 22 states, to give you an idea.
Right.
And one of my friends, when I was doing my building, was a guy named Bill Levitt. And Bill and I were discussing that. And you probably know Bill Levitt as Levittown, Pennsylvania, and Levittown, New York.
Oh, cool.
Built whole cities.
Right.
And it was a whole different game, that, because he made his money right at the end of World War II, where the government allows you $10,000. And remember the old days, you could buy a house for $10,000, and that's what he did. Build all these, inexpensive homes for people to have a place and shelter. And the idea was to get everybody thinking that your house is your security and your savings and everything else. Well, it has some degree of that, but as you're finding out today, it's not very liquid, is it?
No.
In other words, you can't sell it.
Right.
There's nobody out here to loan you money.
Right.
Unless the government comes in and will check it out. But most people are running out of jobs right now. They're
Absolutely.
just barely surviving. So the gain, what did I tell you? The first thing is to gain as much knowledge about this whole plan that they've got scheduled. Again, I have a summary of the Plan 2000 on my website, nohoax.com.
Okay.
But we also have books that go into great detail that tell you each one of these things, so you can be fully up into the knowledge of it, and then get together with other people of like minds so you can support each other in order to develop food for your family, water for your family, an energy source that's outside of, if you can, off of the grid system. Because the grid system is going to collapse all the way across the country anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with buying a light bulb down here at the store for your house?
Yeah.
How many hours does it say that it's going to last? It tells you right on there.
Yeah, it's been a while.
They've got a limited life, don't they?
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so if it's got a limited life, think about this. Electricity doesn't do anything. It travels on the outside of the wires. I don't know if you're aware of that. But it does the same thing on the wires on the inside. It crystallizes things. Now, what do you think about the high-tension lines that are across the United States? How many years old are they?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Eventually, they're going to wear out, too.
They're going to just crystallize and fall apart. And so when the grid system starts to go, because they did them almost all at the same time, it's like you putting lights in your house. Don't they seem to all go out at the same time?
Right.
That's the same thing's going to happen. So how you're going to have to prepare yourself is to get ready for all of this type of thing. Now, when it comes to most people, the first thing they do, and people, when I do my lectures around the country or on, you know, and I'm all over YouTube, as you're probably aware, of the Google and the rest of it.
Yes.
You can see some of the lectures that I have, but most people come to me as how to protect my wallet. Well, since they create the money game, and I got into that too. You have to understand, I did that. I was out creating money out of thin air and doing things, and all that was a game that you could do. Right now, it's very difficult because they're collapsing the whole thing right in front of you. So, if anybody has any what I call liquid assets, so you can trade right now, everybody recognizes the dollar, but it's a piece of paper. And most currency, 90% of the currency today, is either by credit card or checks. Well, 20% of the credit cards have been called in the last year. Interest rates are going up, as you're probably aware, on all the credit cards.
Right.
Because of what's going on. Even the leasing companies that were giving cars away at the leasing companies that, you know, at the airports when you go lease a car,
right,
you know, the rental cars, that was all the car companies giving them to them in order to get it out as a combination. So they got them real cheap. If you rented a car at an airport recently, you'll probably find that the rates have doubled or tripled.
Right.
Everything is going to go up. So all of a sudden, you're going to be looking at hyperinflation. That's what I'm predicting in the next thing. In other words, you go down and get a bowl or a box of cereal. It used to be 20 ounces, and now it's 14 ounces, and maybe the same price. But people don't pay attention. They just look how much money they got coming in.
Right.
Meanwhile, you got the political system, which is coming apart because 40 of the states are technically bankrupt right now. They don't have enough money to cover their obligations. Did you know that?
Not that many. No, I didn't know that many states.
Oh, yeah. And meanwhile, first people that are going to go are what? The ones that are there to protect you. So the police departments are laying off people. The fire departments are laying off people. I don't know if you're aware of this, but it's all over the country.
Right.
So now all of a sudden, who's going to be protecting yourself? Again, you and your neighbors. Now, how do you get your educated neighbors awake to what's going on? Because they're programmed on the media.
Right.
The best way to take care of people is to get them entertained. Let's watch the Super Bowl all day, right?
Right.
Or the Academy Awards this week, or something else. So as they take over the planet, well, again, we're running out of problems because we just can't take care of the world. 40% of the world's existing on less than $2 a day, to give you an idea. Not that some people can't live on it. I mean, you're looking at 80. I mean, I've been to Haiti. Haiti is and always will be a slum. That's just the way it is. There's no way out because they don't have anything. I flew with the vice president of the Haynes Corporation down in Costa Rica, for instance, and they were shutting down some of the plants down there that make, the Haynes clothing. They were moving it over to Haiti because they can get people to work for $1 a day. Would you do that?
Wow, no. To be honest with you.
Well, but you do indirectly. You allow it to happen because what do you have when you go buy shorts or buy the stuff that you need?
Right.
Aren't you looking at the best price you can get?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
So that's the same thing with Walmart. Walmart is successful because it is contracted with all these companies, and so if you're looking at it, what Japan and China has just done with Walmart, they know what's going on. So I'll give you, for instance, Japan has given Walmart $1 billion to buy Japanese products, but they have to repay it in yen. Now, is that a clue?
Yeah.
They're calculating the dollar's going to...
Right. It's going to... Right. So, okay, I'm sure there's two questions out there that the listeners have. One of which is, why, if you have all this information, like, why do they allow you to lecture and give this information out? Like, I can imagine that won't there be people after you to kind of hush you up?
Well, I have a friend of mine who's the former head of the CIA for Latin America, and we're always talking about it. And the question that you have is good, except for like Ted Gunn